Yeah.
Let's see. Let's get Facebook fired. Or we got Facebook fired up. Now let's get Instagram fired up. Kelly, where in the world are you? I forget.
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Plano,
nice.
technically, but
Plano,
Texas.
So I have a Plano thing. Hang on. When I used to speed skate back in the day in the 90s, when I was young, before I was old as dirt like I am now, the best speed skater in the world was from Plano, Texas.
Really?
Chad Hedrick. And he actually went on, his parents owned a skating rink in Plano. And he went on to win a bunch of
skating?
Yeah, inline skating. Yeah, roller. You start off roller, then they like inlines, and he switched over to ice, and he won a bunch of medals in the Olympics. But Plano's where the rink was.
Interesting.
Yeah. See, and I tell people from Plano that all the time. They're like, I had no idea. I'm like, this guy won so many medals in the Winter Olympics, and nobody knows.
You know, if it's not Cowboys or Rangers,
I know. I hear you. And this guy is. I mean, because like the thing is, I used to have skate against the guy, and he just dominated. Like, it wasn't fair for people. This is me whining real quick. It wasn't fair for me because like his parents owned a skating rink, right? So all he had to do was skate, like 24/7. That's all he had to do. His parents owned a rink. Like I had to work. And I played baseball. Like I had other sports. You know, like skating was something I did too. Skating was all this kid did, and so he was dominating. But it was awesome seeing him in the Olympics. But yeah, when he came to the starting line, I was like, okay, who's trying for second? It was awesome. Yeah, he was from Plano. Okay, all right. So got right up to episode 2490. We'll be at 2500 here. 4 weeks.
I was a previous guest like 3 years ago. I don't know if that.
Rock on. I love
it was like right after COVID. So we talked about like a trip, you know, right after that time period. We're all wearing the mask and all the stuff. So it's been a long time. So it's exciting to be back.
Yeah, let's don't do that again.
Yeah.
Please. I can't do that again. I've had to sit in my house for 2 days and I'm going
crazy of it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, stop, dog. Is there somebody in the backyard? Okay. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2490 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you're having a great start to the week and that you had a great weekend. We are going to get this week started the right way with a fun trip report. We have a good time talking. Wait, we're getting a little feedback. Hang on, let me start this over.
Okay.
It's come from my end.
Is it me?
Do you have your headphones open or are your speakers open? Maybe I'm trying to.
I don't have any headphones.
Let's see.
I can turn down.
Could be from your speakers because if your speakers are hearing me, that's when I talk.
Okay.
That could be it.
Try it again. Is that better?
We shall see. Okay, let's try it one more time. Here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, 2490. Welcome to episode 2490 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend. And, weekends are pretty awesome. And, Mondays can be a little, not the best, but hey, let's make the most of it. We're going to have a fun trip report. And we're talking about one of my favorite things. And if you've been hanging out over in the Be Our Guest Podcast Clubhouse, which is our Discord server, you need to be there. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Discord. Get there right now. You know that I've been talking about my cruise coming up. Disney Fantasy. We're under 50 days. All I can think about. And today, trip report talking about the Disney Fantasy out to the Caribbean. So it's like, it's so perfect for me, but I hope it's going to get you excited as well. We're going to talk a little Walt Disney World on the front end as well. So joining us, we have a guest who was on a few years back, coming back from down in Plano, Texas, where she didn't know it's a speed skating hub. All they worry about is Whataburger and high school and football and the Cowboys. But
That's pretty much it.
hey, nothing wrong with that. I could live there and be a happily live a happily life for the rest of my life. But
Yeah.
what's going on, Kelly? Thanks for coming on with us today.
Oh, glad to be here. I love to talk about this trip, so I'm really excited to get into it, and I'm ready. Yeah.
One of the happiest things about my daughter's cheerleading championships in Springfield, Missouri, this past spring when they went down to cheer for the state, I was excited. Whataburger has migrated its way up to Southwest Missouri. I was like, holy cow, we got 2 Whataburgers down here. God bless America. I love that place because I had only had it at the Dallas airport for the first time.
I know. There's one right down the street.
Oh, you guys are so lucky. It's so good. And we just that special ketchup. That's all I need.
Oh yeah,
the ketchup and the black
yeah, but you smell like that ketchup for days.
See, I don't know. Maybe I did. I didn't know. I'm going around smelling like black ketchup, I guess. Who knew? I was like that cat. Because I mean, we don't have them around here. Everybody's probably like, what's that smell? He smells like Whataburger. Anyway, we're gonna have a good time talking today. You are a DVC member, AP holder, family of 5. Give us a little just quick hit of your just Disney fandom, your background, because you're all in. You're listening to podcasts, DVC, all that stuff.
Yes. All in. Grew up in South Florida. So I was indoctrinated into Disney pretty young. Moved there when I was 5. That was my first trip. Was when I was 5. I remember it pretty vividly. It was at Christmas time. I grew up in West Palm, which is about 4-hour driving back then. We'd load up in my dad's Camaro. We would just barrel down 95, go to Disney for a couple nights. We'd stay in some Days Inn and Kissimmee. Nothing fancy, but just really fell in love with the place. And we would go pretty often in my childhood. Eventually moved out to Dallas, went to college here and stayed. And I just kept my love for Disney. My husband also loved Disney. He didn't get to grow up going to Disney like I did, but we started going right when we got married. And then as soon as we had our kids, started taking them there. We've been DVC members since about 2020. For a few years now, became annual pass holders because we were going so frequently. That might change this year, but we're all in on Disney. We got to go to Disneyland Paris 2 Christmases ago. That was beyond magical. But this was our first Disney cruise. We were supposed to go in 2020 when everything fell apart, and I had this big Mediterranean cruise booked. We were so excited. We were going to do, it's like a 10-day cruise. We were going to all these places, got canceled, heartbroken, and just never made it back to Disney Cruise Line until this past year. And I just thought, this is the perfect year for us to go. The twins just turned 9. My little girl turned 7. And I really wanted to get them in under that, the Disney magical age of 10, because that's when they're adults, according to Disney. So for pricing and I just thought also it was just a good time in their childhood to go. So I called Mike and I was like, hey, what are my options for spring break? You gave me my options, and this one just fit our dates perfectly. We did have to pull them out of school for 1 day, but it wasn't a big deal. And we went to the Western Caribbean. I had been there before in college, but definitely not anything like this. So I was super excited when you gave me that itinerary. And so we booked it. We booked the 7-night. I know a lot of people start with the 3 or 4 night, but I was kind of like, this may be a one and done for us. So I just went ahead and booked the 7 nights, and it was a great trip.
There's never anything wrong with doing a 7-night on your first one. It's like, if you go with a veranda the first time, there's nothing wrong with booking a veranda the first. The problem is you just can't go back. I mean,
definitely.
You gotta be careful of what you take the first time, because you're going to be disappointed if you ever go to a 4 or 5 nighter. I mean, it's just the truth,
Yeah.
4 nights a good introductory cruise, because then when you do a 7-nighter, you have something bigger to look forward to.
Right.
Now you do have bigger cruises to look forward to. You can do a med, like you said, the one you're like, you got other things, but I mean, you're already up high on the scale. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
you gotta be careful. Like I temper my, I take baby steps. So I'm trying to help my guests out there, but I love that you did this. Now, I got to tell you, when you were talking about those trips up in the Camaro, up 95, you got to have the Miami Vice theme playing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was either Miami Vice. We had Phil Collins going. We were going straight up 95. It was a good time.
Totally. I was just picturing that. I mean, it was perfect. I was like, it's rock. Okay, so you're talking kids' perfect age though, 9, 9, and 7. I mean, oh my gosh, it's like the perfect age for a cruise. So let's talk about the pre-trip. So you guys, your DVC members, you go down. Of course, the best thing you can do if possible is like book into cruise with a night before, a night after, maybe a couple nights here, you know, before and after, get a little park time if you can, and maybe not even park time, but resort time. Just
Yes.
get a nice hotel, hang out at the pool, Disney Springs, putt, whatever. Because we all love the park. So how did you guys handle that pre-cruise?
Well, our cruise was leaving on Saturday. We ended up leaving Thursday night, which I'm really glad we chose Thursday. We had terrible storms through Dallas that night. Everything was getting canceled. Our flight was delayed almost 5 hours. So we were expecting to be able to go right in and maybe hop over to Magic Kingdom, do a couple things before bed. That didn't happen at all. So I was really glad that we had that buffer day between when we were supposed to be there. And I knew that, you know, you don't get in too close to a cruise time because
No.
just in case something happens. And this was one of those cases, there was people freaking out that were going to, you know, other cruise lines that were leaving the next day. They were really panicking. We didn't have to panic because we knew we had some time. We were going to miss some park time, but we had just been there over Christmas. So we weren't too concerned about missing some park time. I just wanted to get there. So we eventually made it. We checked into the Poly like at 1 o'clock in the morning. Kids were passed out, but it was fine. Our room was ready, obviously. Um,
If it's not ready at 1 in the morning, you're hurt.
right? I know I didn't have to worry about that. We had booked a studio at the Poly, which fits our perfect a family of 5, pretty great. So our kids have been begging to stay at the Polynesian for a while. They just love the pool area. Although we're members, DVC members at Grand Floridian, and Bay Lake, we tried to book the Poly for them, and we were able to get it. So the next day, you know, we were a little sleepy, but we got up, we rope dropped Magic Kingdom, got Tron, which we got to ride over Christmas, but really we're anxious to ride it again. We just knocked it out at Magic Kingdom, but we decided to come back earlier in the day. We were tired from the night before and really just let the kids relax at the pool. And that's what they had fun doing. It was unseasonably hot. You never know with spring break, right?
Yep.
You could be freezing at spring break in Florida, or you
True.
could just be melting. And this time it was a little warm. So it wasn't perfect for the pool. We got there about 4 o'clock, let the kids swim for a couple hours. Like, hey, what do you want to do for dinner tonight? Look on the app. Grand Floridian Cafe was open.
Oh,
I thought,
love
perfect.
I love that place.
Yeah. So we just hopped over to Grand Floridian Cafe, had a nice dinner, went out, watched the fireworks, and over there by Gasparilla's, it was perfect. Had perfect viewing, and then just you know, went in for the night. Now we kind of did something a little different. The next morning, we had to since we were first time cruisers. Of course, we had like all the late access to everything, right? Which is a little frustrating, a little I don't know. I'm a super planner, right? So I have all this.
I can see because I mean it is kind of a fair system because like the people who are the most loyal do get early access. But when you are the type A person, and you're first timer, it is a struggle, man. It's a struggle,
right?
It's like you gotta earn it.
And I was being the super planner, and I plan, even though I've been to the park so many times, I plan every park day. I do it very, very systematically. With Disney Cruise Line, I kind of had to just let go. And at first it was a little conflicting, but then eventually I just had to lean into it and just relax and go with the flow. And part of that was getting the later boarding time. And we had probably the latest boarding time. It was like 3 o'clock. And so we knew we had some time to kill. So we went to Animal Kingdom in the morning. We had a car. So we hopped in. We were there right at rope drop, 7:30. Walked on to about everything we could do. We're out of there by noon and drove over to Port Canaveral. We had time to stop for lunch. We were just anxiously waiting our boarding time. The good news about a later boarding time is you kind of just sail through the boarding process that late.
That is the bonus, because if you're like, I mean, we're platinum, right? We've sailed 20 times, so we get the first boarding group, but it's a clog because it's like it's a competition even for the people who are first. Like everybody's it's just like every other Disney thing, right? It's just it's like trying to get into the Haunted Mansion. Like everybody's crowding into one spot. It's a funnel. So you're right. If you do have a late boarding group, you just walk on. I mean, there's an advantage to that. I know mentally though, we all want to be first. Like we think, oh, this is going to be done. This is going to be done. The ship's not leaving, and you're not going to run out of food, and the sail away party is going to be at 3:34, 5 o'clock, whatever it is. Like it's not happening until then. So you're not missing anything really. I mean, you're maybe a quick ride on the aqueduct or something like that. I mean, yeah, there are a few advantages to being on the ship a little bit earlier, but it's a lot. I'll be honest, it is a lot easier getting on the ship later than earlier.
Yeah. We sailed right on through. They were so easy. I mean, they took our passports and our stuff from us. They, everything was just so easy. And that was really nice. I was expecting more chaos. I was expecting more like an airport or something like that. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, I was like, that's it.
Walk through some ears. Did we all get to walk through ears everywhere? Yeah, just
yeah, straight through. And then of course our room was ready because it was so late in the day. So we didn't have to wait on that. So we did try to, keep positive about it. And hey, we sailed through, our room's ready. We can go straight to our activities. So we got on, we had a great room. We had a family suite, slept 5. I was a little worried about it being tight and cramped. I had been on like previous cruises, like I said, with friends in college, really tight, rooms. This was not, I was actually pleasantly surprised how spacious the rooms really are.
So what do you remember the category? Because like we're in a 4A. I think it's probably what were you concierge or no?
No, we weren't concierge.
Then we were probably in the same stateroom.
Yeah.
See, now here's the difference. So you had 9, 9, and 7.
Yeah.
I have 3 adults, a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old. Well, we'll make it work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we're fine. We'll make it work. But I mean, we have the five berths, and it's going to be fine. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because we added the cousin at the last minute.
Yeah, but thank goodness they have that curtain. You can kind of make your own space.
Yep.
And then they have the 2 bathrooms where you have one person can be getting ready and showering, the other person can be using the bathroom. So for us, it worked out really well. We had a beautiful ocean veranda room. I loved the room. I just thought the kids were ecstatic about, the bunk bed and all the stuff. So we got our room. We went straight, did the drill that they make you do. We went to the kids club to check out the open house. And that was one thing my husband and I were particularly interested in was the kids club. And our kids are pretty adaptable. They're used to going places and with other kids and church and school and different things. So I thought they'd be fine at the kids club, but we went to the open house because I'd read, that's where you really want to get your kids comfortable. This time you get to play in there. It's amazing. Yep. So my husband and I were just like, I think we are excited.
A picture at the Millennium Falcon, at least.
Right?
Yeah.
I was just blown away. I mean, I had watched some videos. I was trying not to watch too much, like on YouTube. I kind of really wanted that first time experience to be really fresh. So I had seen a few little things, but I was really trying not to be the over planner on this trip. So I was really in a lot of shock and awe, like, wow, I had no idea that, like, I knew it'd be cool. But I had no idea, like, this is beyond cool. So we got to play around there. The kids didn't want to leave. We got them, all checked in there so that they could go back. Went to our first dinner that night, which was wonderful. And then I'm telling you, Mike, we couldn't get them out of the kids club the rest of the time.
But see, I think you have an advantage with 3 kids and especially twins, right? Like they have kind of like
they have each other.
Exactly. Like the problem I always had with like Mallory at first when, until like Emily came along and like Scott, we started traveling with the Carters. Like when you have like an only child, it's kind of hard because when you want to take them to the club and they don't know anybody else, like they can make fast friends, but sometimes it's hard initially. And then if they don't make the friend the first night, hard sell for then the cruise is over, right? It goes so quickly. But yeah, I think kids that have siblings of similar ages, I hear this story all the time, like, oh my God, we couldn't get them out of there because they already have like a friend and then they make other friends and boom, it's like.
And I think if you're used to dropping your kids off at different types of play places or like a church nursery or different things like that, they just become more adaptable for that. And I think the key was, like you said, making friends the first day or two. And we really encourage them to meet friends and, hey, when we pick them up, who did you meet? What was their name? What city were they from? We kind of talked them into, being a little bit more extroverted as far as, hey, I want you to find 2 new friends tonight and tell me what cities they're from.
That's a good tip.
And, just kind of encourage them that, especially with the twins who could kind of just stick together and never talk to anybody else. We really, and they did, especially when my little girl, she was just making friends left and right. And, at first I was a little nervous about leaving them there. We're on a big boat. I don't know the boat yet. By the end of the trip, they were running down there by themselves, checking each other in, and it was great. But I do think that open house time, and they do it periodically through the cruise, but especially that first day, if you have kids, make that like a super priority. There's a lot of other stuff going on, and we missed some other things by doing that open house. But I think if we hadn't done that open house the first day, I think it would have been a harder sell.
No, you've great tips. I mean, I like the thing about, who did you meet today? Where are they from? That's great, like proactive way to make sure that they're, embracing some other people and making new relationships out there. And that'll help them, enjoy the club more. And I like that, getting to that open house. I hear you, because we're nervous about Mallory and her cousin Zoe hanging out at Vibe. I mean, oh my gosh, like, they're 16 and 15 and almost 16. Like, and I'm like, you talk about the kids club. Don't worry about my kid in the Vibe. Oh my God.
Oh, another thing we did the first day, which was really fun, is I took y'all's advice from the podcast, and we really just explored the boat. Find your bearings. Yeah. We went up to the top deck. People were kind of scattering, starting to get ready for dinner. We got to play some putt-putt. It emptied out. Shot some basketball. Just the lay of the land. And in fact, after dinner, the kids wanted to go back to the kids club, and my husband and I really started on like the bottom floor and just went floor by floor and just walked that entire boat. I mean, talk about putting in the steps. We put in the steps that night by just walking that entire boat, just trying to figure out where everything was. And I was just blown away by, first, how beautiful the Fantasy is. And then second of all, I had this crazy obsession with how good it smelled. Like, my husband was making.
I was going to ask you about that, because I the ships use the Wish had a distinct smell. The Wish, because I've been on all the ships now, and the Wish had a very, very distinct smell. I think because it was newest. I don't know. It's like, when I got on, I was like, it has a new ship smell.
I mean, I've looked up, I've Googled how to get that scent in my home. I loved it. My husband's like, it's just, it smells good. I was like, no, it smells amazing.
So when I read that, I cracked up, because I know it has a distinct smell.
Yeah, I bought some essential oils that smell like that. I'm so obsessed with it.
I got to ask you about this, because I got an email. You got to help me with the podcast listener here real quick. Somebody was asking about the Goofy's Golf Simulator. You guys did that? I think I saw that in your notes, or somebody did.
We did. That was that first day. Now, like I said, being the first timers, we didn't get access to the excursions and all this stuff as early as most people. So most things were sold out by the time I got to them, including the Goofy's sports thing, the simulator. But we happened to be up there playing mini golf, and we just walked in to see what it was like. And one of the cast members is standing there, and nobody was really in there. And I said, "Oh, can we check it out?" And he's like, "Oh, do you have a reservation?" I said, "No, but do you happen to have any reservations?" He's like, "Oh, sure." So we were able to do it right then. And so even if it's sold out, I had just assumed, oh, well, we're not going to be able to do that. My kids didn't know about it. So I was like, well, it's just something they won't get to do. But they let us do it right then. And then several people would come in, and they book them for later that night. Now, I know it did fill up pretty well on the sea days, but that first day, if you can wiggle it in. And then a lot of people had cancellations. So he was like, hey, if you want to do it again, just come by. Lots of people cancel. So we were able to do it twice. And my kids liked it. It was fun. It's just a simulator screen.
Like the thing like you would do like at a Dave & Buster's, like you just and it just what it thinks your distance would be, and where it'd be in the fairway.
If you don't get in on it, it's not going to be the end of your cruise. But if you really want to do it and you can't get in, definitely just stop by or call, and they usually can work you in. So
cool, because I've just never participated in that. Somebody's asking, it's one of the few things I haven't done, and I saw you'd done it. I was like, I'm going to ask for that. I was asking about that. So that's I love that you were exploring the ship. Okay, so let's kind of dive into some of the categories here. So we've talked about your stateroom. That worked out pretty well for you. You were impressed with that. Dining. Let's kind of talk about your dining, because I love hearing especially for first timer.
Yes.
The rotational dining. What restaurant stood out for you the most out of all the rotational dining restaurants?
I personally loved all of them, but definitely the kids' animator's palette was beyond anything they could have dreamed of. First of all, they loved the menus, getting to make their own choices. We had talked to them before the cruise. we told them in a unique way, and I can tell you about that in a second. But we really encouraged them. My kids are pretty good eaters, but we really said, hey, this food's already paid for. It's included. So we really want you to try some new things on this ship, not just chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese. Like choose some foods, like, you know, and if you don't like them, if you can take some bites. If you don't like it, we'll get you something else. It's already included. So you might as well, you know, try it. I like literally fell out of my chair when one of the boys ordered a salad the first night. I mean, I was like, for his appetizer. So I was like, and he liked it and continued ordering salad the rest of the trip.
Look at that.
Yeah. So they did, and they tried some stuff they didn't care for, but I was just, you know, they really embraced the ordering. Like, I let them order their food, and Animator's Palace. I mean, just the uniqueness of the restaurant. You know, you had the kind of like the turtle time with Crush aspect where the character's talking to you one night. The second time we went back is where you got to draw on your menu, and they put them all together and your drawings come to life, which was fantastic. That definitely, I mean, they kept begging to go back to that restaurant, and I was like, I'm so sorry guys, but that's our last time there. They just thought it was so cool, and I thought it was really cool. But obviously what makes the dining, the food's good. We're foodies. We love food in the park. The food on the boat is good. I wouldn't say it's as good as the signature dining at Disney World. Like if you're top, you know, like a Yachtsman, a Topolino's, it's not to, you know, quite to that level. Maybe it is if you go to the, you know, the fancy ones that you have to make reservations for. But, you know, it's really good dining though. And they have a lot of choices. But the waiter, our wait staff, ours, you know, ours was named William. He was fantastic. They're the ones that really kind of make the dining, I think, special for you. And they would play games with the kids, really get to know the kids. They would really, if they knew, like, well, you didn't really love the chicken last night, so I'd order something. They'd be like, yeah, you know what? Let me get you something better. And they kind of learned our taste about what we liked and didn't like. But beyond just doing their job, I'd heard this. I'd heard this on your podcast. I'd heard this from other trip reports about how amazing the wait staff is, the crew members, the cast members that serve you. But like, this was another level that I really wasn't expecting, to have that personal connection.
You like on the last day, you're sad. Yeah. Like you want them to come home with you, because honestly, I've said this so many times. If you develop like this really weird, like kind of relationship with them over even a 4-night cruise, like you just, it's, I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Yes. So they were fantastic. Yes. My little girl almost cried when we had to leave our staff.
I know, for real. I see it all the time on the cruise. Yeah. It's wild. And
then in the mornings, we mainly did cabanas, which was great. It's a good buffet. It's in those cinnamon churro Mickey waffles.
Oh, stop! I cannot wait, because I had my last one at Crystal Palace not too long ago, and that's all I'm thinking about until 50 days. Man, 50 days.
I mean, I don't even know how many times we went back to that buffet. Like, I just had put like one on my plate, and I'm like, oh no, we're gonna need more. For real. I'm just so mad they only do it one time on the cruise.
I know. You gotta make sure you go that day.
I know. I was. Yeah, they're good. They're good.
They're not good. They're great.
Right? You know, there was so much food on, like, just at every meal, that I felt like we didn't even get to take advantage of all the food options on the cruise. I think we did room service one time. That was the day we came back.
We always say going into the cruise, we're going to do this like 3 times, because we never do it. We've said this, my wife said this 5 times. Like, we got to make sure we do room service this cruise. I guarantee we'll probably come back after this cruise again and be like, we didn't do it again.
Right? We did it one day. We came back from Castaway Cay. It was kind of early. Dinner wasn't for a couple hours. And we just ordered some like appetizers, like fruit and cheese. And that was the only time we did it. And yeah, I could kick myself that we didn't do it more, but literally could not fit one more thing.
You guys are, because we're not that, you know, we don't eat a ton.
So. And I was even mad. We didn't even get to take full advantage of the soft serve on board. We did it.
That's a crime.
Right? I mean, we tried to do it once a day, but we couldn't even get it in once a day because we were so full from all the meals. But, and I loved the on the island, on Castaway Cay, the cookies.
Yeah, that might be one of my top meals. I know people slaughter me for that, but I love cookies. I love the hamburgers, the chicken sandwiches, ribs. I mean, that's my jam. So yeah,
it was awesome. I loved it. And pro tip, you get the cookies, the actual cookies they have there, go to those soft serve machines.
100%.
Cream
Ice cream
sandwich.
sandwich. That's I do it every cruise.
Yeah.
Yes, we know.
I probably learned it from you.
I'm just saying, I've been doing it for years. You got to eat it fast, though. I'm telling you
Yeah.
what, it is a mess.
Mhm.
Then you just jump in the ocean and wash off. I mean,
Totally.
that's exactly. You got all the pro tips. This is a
I
great show.
did.
If you're not going cruising, just listen to Kelly. Kelly's got you covered. Okay, so let's talk about okay, so we've talked down real quick. Tell me at least one night you got to have like late night pizza at Flo's V8 Cafe, or one you went up to the snack shack there. I called it the corner deck 11 aft. You had to have done that. I mean, you got little kids.
No, well, we did go try the fancy ice cream place. I forget what they call it. It's not
Is it
included.
vanilla piece on that one? I can't remember.
I can't remember the name of it. But we had sent the kids to the kids club. They were happy. My husband and I went and got some ice cream from there and a cupcake, and we just went and sat up on the deck and looked at the stars.
Oh, look at you, romantic night.
Yeah, and just kind of just relaxed. It was a beautiful night. And so that's really the only time, but I didn't really, like I said, we didn't really get a whole lot of time to check out the flows, but it was crowded. It was packed.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good cheap pizza. It's good.
I saw a lot of people taking it back to the rooms.
Oh yeah, I'm guilty. I do that all the time. Okay, so entertainment wise, now because you've seen all the you've seen the great shows. Like, I mean, I think the best show on property probably at Walt Disney World's probably Festival of Lion King over at Animal Kingdom. So it's kind of the bar we have on land. What did you think of the shows? You had Aladdin, Frozen, and this junk show, because sometimes they have like a rotating show on the Fantasy Feast 7-night cruises. Tell us about what you thought of the entertainment in the Walt Disney Theater, and maybe some of the smaller things you did, maybe trivias and the stuff in the D Lounge. I like kind of the smaller activities too.
The entertainment was great. I would say it's very comparable to what you see in the parks. We got to see Aladdin, which I think was my favorite on the trip, just because you don't see that in the park. And they did a really good job. It was funny. The performers were very talented. I do say if you have to you have to get a good seat, and they're all good seats, but like if you really want a good seat, you've got to get there early. They line up for those shows really early. So we got there early, and I even brought my popcorn bucket and couldn't even get popcorn. I was so full from dinner, but people were getting popcorn and drinks, and just really the shows were top notch. I didn't love Frozen as much as I love Frozen at Hollywood Studios, the Frozen sing along, or some of the other shows. But it was good. Definitely on level with what you see at the parks. The show Junk was a pretty much kind of like Blue Man Group.
It's like a stomp kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
Blue Man Group meets stomp is what I would call it.
I figured.
Highly entertaining. Didn't really have anything to do with Disney, but it was kind of a refreshing show. Definitely was more adult geared. My kids enjoyed it, but they probably would have been happier at Kids Club that night. I know they had a ventriloquist one night. We missed that night. We were just tired. But I would say the entertainment is really great. We even went to a movie. We hadn't seen the newest Indiana Jones movie. So one day on a C day, my husband and I just went to the movie, and it was great. We didn't really participate in too much of the bingo or the trivias. It just isn't our thing, but we did. I dragged him to a couple things. My husband was not really knowing what to do with himself on C days. He's not one of those guys who just goes and relaxes on a lounge chair. Right. I could do that all day long. So I kind of had to keep him entertained. And so I made him go to napkin folding.
We did towel folding one time.
Yeah, napkin folding. He grew up in a restaurant business, so he kind of already knew some of that stuff. But we did one of those crafts where you did like a 3D house of the up house, where you had to build it out of paper. They did a cooking class with one of the head chefs there for an apple crisp. And they gave us samples. That was fun. And DVC had like a reception one day with some Disney trivia, and they gave us some free stuff. That was fun. On C days, I would say that was the only time, the first C day particularly, we didn't really know what to do with ourselves. The kids were off busy. My husband and I kind of looked at each other like, oh, what are we going to do? I used that app. Gosh, I lived on that app just trying to figure out what was going on. And there was tons going on. The first C day, I just kind of didn't know. By the second C day, we were just doing all the stuff. found the adult only side of the boat, which was fantastic and pretty empty. And that's where I really wanted to spend most of my time.
I love that
um,
area.
yeah, it's great. And like I said, it was really large. And I think most people were off doing stuff elsewhere. And so we kind of had that to ourselves for a couple hours one day. It was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the pool area up front on the Fantasy, you got Satellite Falls, which is
Yeah.
pretty nice. I mean, you got your pool
Yeah.
area up there, and then at night on the aft down low, you got Europa, which is the adult like club area, which is
Right.
also equally nice. Did you guys do any of the night stuff down there? No?
No, we're really super early risers, so we tend to go to bed a little bit earlier than most.
You're my
So,
people. I mean, I go for
mhm,
like the first shift, I'm out by like 11:30 and then
right.
I get up.
Oh, we were in bed by 10, and and also we were there during time change, and that was real interesting on a
Oh man.
boat. Because we didn't know what time it was, and we really didn't care at a certain point. We're like, well, whatever time it is, this time
Right.
it is. We're on boat time. So yeah, we kind of just went for the flow. And I'll tell you, I got the best night's sleep on that boat. It was
Oh
just
my gosh, yes.
rocking.
Yes, give me a little rock. No,
Oh yeah.
those beds on those ships are so
Oh,
they're way more comfortable than our bed at our house. I can tell you
for
that.
sure. And when we got home for a week, I would just lean over my head. I said, I miss my bed on the boat.
Same. I say that all the time. Say that all
You
the
just like a cocoon and rock you to sleep every night.
time.
It was
Right, right,
fantastic.
right. There was one cruise we went on. There was a Bahamian cruise, right, in Seven Caribbean, so we didn't go as far, and the ship didn't go near as fast. So like the seas were flat as a
Mhm.
pancake, and the ship never moved. And I was so disappointed, right, because it didn't rock. So I'm like, I'm getting robbed here. Like I want a good night's sleep. Like I need the ship to
Yeah.
rock me to sleep. And this is, what's going on here? Come on, Captain. I
Yeah.
can't you find us a little, waves, and he's probably like, I found the perfect seas for everybody. And like, no,
Right.
I was counting on that. Okay. So let's talk about ports here. Cause you guys went to Cozumel, Grand Cayman, Jamaica, and
Mhm.
Castaway Key.
Yep.
Um, out of those three, Cozumel, Grand Cayman, and Jamaica, because we definitely got to hit Castaway Key.
Sure.
Which one would you say was the highlight for the family out of those three? Because I'll tell you what mine was, but I will give you yours first. Because
That's really tough.
I have a definite favorite of those three.
Okay, I would say for us it was Jamaica.
Okay.
We like I said, we all of the things were booked. Jamaica's people were a little scared to get off in Jamaica because of some of the unrest in Jamaica. But I had found on a website about how you could go to a all inclusive resort for the day, buy a day pass. So we did that. We went to the Hilton Rose Hall. And we bought, that's the only family friendly. There's some couples only ones, but that was the family friendly one that was available for us. Disney offers one, but it's through a different hotel and it was already booked. There was about 5 other Disney families from the cruise that were on our same shuttle to there. We became really close with them on that little shuttle. It was
It
great.
makes
Made
you
some
feel better
friends.
when you have a group together. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was great. It was very nice. They took us straight to the Hilton. It was fantastic. Water slides. It was all inclusive, so all the food. We had all the jerk chicken and all the Jamaican specialties, and it was fantastic. They had a beautiful beach, private beach, and the transportation took us there. The kids, we had the best day, and even my husband and I, we were going down all the water slides, and it was really nice. By that point, that was like mid-trip on the 7-day cruise. And it was kind of nice to get away from the crowd of the cruise for a little bit and just have some breathing room.
Mhm.
And especially my kids really wanted to be in a pool. And the pools, on the cruise are fairly tiny.
They are tiny.
And so you don't really get the pool time on the cruise. So they were really happy to have that kind of pool time at this resort. I mean, they were all great stops. That was probably, if I were to poll my family, that's the one they would say. Now we did dolphins in Cozumel. So that one was pretty fantastic too. But I think if they could go back and repeat a day, it'd probably be Jamaica.
So Cozumel is my favorite, just because
Yeah.
I find I've done great excursions. I've done Amazing
Mhm.
Race Cozumel, which I'm 2
Right.
times champion. That's why I think I like it. But I also love Paradise Beach is a good beach day in Cozumel. I've done that a couple of times. There's a lot to do in Cozumel, but I've had good luck there. But Jamaica, Margaritaville is a good stop if you just want to hang out at the pool and just hang out there. That's where we've got, and it is dead at the port. Like
Mhm.
literally, I told you before we started recording, we could have jumped out of our aft balconies and probably hit the pool there, so we didn't have to worry about. We didn't feel very unsafe because we never
Yeah.
even left the port area.
And the port area is pretty nice there. So.
It is
Mhm.
actually super nice. Like it felt super safe. I don't know
Yeah.
about instability. Jamaica's a mess right now. I agree,
Yeah.
but they're doing what they can to keep that port area secure.
Right.
Grand Cayman is like a really fancy island. I
Right.
just never know what to do with myself on Grand Cayman when we go there. We just usually take a shuttle down to 7 Mile Island and go to like
Yeah.
the little open air bars and just walk out to the beach. You know, we usually don't. It looks like you guys did snorkeling and stingrays, and
We
you guys,
did, and that's a fantastic. We had to book through Viator because once again the Disney ones were full because of our status. But I had booked through Viator before, so I was pretty comfortable with that system. And so we did that. But it just was a rough sea day, so the snorkeling was a little rough with little kids. And then they got stung, but we all got stung by jellyfish.
oh no.
So and we just laugh because we try to teach our kids, every trip has a snag or something happens, and nobody was hurt. The people on the boat had the vinegar solution they were throwing on everybody, and they were tiny jellyfish. It was uncomfortable, but no one was seriously injured. And we just said core memory. This is a core memory. Embrace it. It's something we'll talk about. Remember that time we were in Grand Cayman and we all got all the jellyfish stings. But so that's why I didn't put that one at the top of my list. But but Stingray City is pretty awesome if you ever get a chance to do it. It's just a little touristy at this point, so it's a little crowded. So you're out there in the middle of the ocean, which is really cool with all these stingrays, but there's also a couple hundred other people with you. So it's kind of not the well-kept secret like it used to be. So that's why I didn't put that one. But Cozumel was awesome because we did the Dolphinarius, dolphins, and my kids had always wanted to do swim with the dolphins. I grew up in South Florida, thought my life was going to be a marine biologist and work with dolphins, like every 80s kid in Florida thought. So this was like living my childhood dream of getting to swim with dolphins. It was great. I used the awesome cruise credit that we got from the travel agency.
As long as you don't use it for tips, I'm happy.
Yep. So, and that was in my head. So I was able to get that through the cruise line and was able to use that awesome onboard credit. And it was great. It really, those excursions are expensive. So it was really, really helpful to have that cruise credit.
I'm glad you got to do that. Now, you mentioned Keswick. I love you said hype is real. Heaven on earth. You had a good time there. So what did you guys you guys went down to Serenity Bay? It looks like kids did their thing in Scuttles Cove or that. Well, that's a little kid area. I can't. My kids are older now. I'm losing touch with all the little kid stuff. Oh my gosh.
We were the first ones off the cruise line that morning. Like we had heard, get there early, before they let you off. And pretty much we knew to not go to the first family beach because that's where everyone kind of stops.
Yeah.
And keep going to the second one. And we did. And we had our picket chairs, kind of set up camp there. The kids, the water, perfect weather. The water was crystal clear. Just had the best time before half the people had even finished breakfast. We were up and down that slide that hangs out there, Scuttles Cove. We were down that thing probably 10 times before the first.
You're the perfect age for that. Like Pelican Point there out in the water.
Pelican Point, yes.
2 slides, the tube one and then the open one. Yeah, that thing is a blast. I mean, you got to swim out there. You got to do a little work to get out there. Man, that thing is faster than you think. It's good.
It is. I went down it a couple times. After about twice, I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to go sit in a lounge chair. But
it's good for the adults. It's got a little thrill.
And it gets pretty crowded towards the middle of the day. So if you can get there early and you can get off on that first wave, you really do, get your pick of the chairs and all the stuff. And then we went really early to lunch, enjoyed, like we said, that awesome lunch. Then the kids wanted to go try out the kids club there on the island. And my husband and I jumped on over, took the tram out to the adult only section. We're not coordinated enough to ride bikes over there. A lot of people were doing that, but we took the tram. And just had a drink, sat down, enjoyed just some serenity.
Nice.
And just, got to have conversation and I really enjoyed it for a couple hours. Went to go pick the kids up. They didn't want to leave, very upset. They were having so much fun. But it was time to go. The boat was going to leave soon. I could have stayed there another day or two. It was really, really nice. And I know weather, obviously impacts Castaway Cay a lot. And we really had the perfect day for it. But I knew that it was going to be great. I just didn't expect it to be so great. It was it was like the Epcot of the Bahama Islands, Bahamian Islands. Everything was so perfect. Everything was so clean, and everything was just manicured, and it had that island vibe for sure. It wasn't sanitized in that way, but it was just so nice and just so relaxing. And I just felt like my kids were safe running around. They were safe at the kids club. We got the time to ourselves. The food was good. The drinks are good. It was just really, I couldn't have written a more perfect day there. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. And that was your last port, because it's our last port day. Is that same for this
Mhm.
Western still? Yeah, when you guys
Yeah,
were
and I'm glad it was the last day. It was
Yeah.
kind of like it
Smart
was
how to do that.
awesome excursion, awesome port to kind of go out on.
Yeah, obviously they do that on purpose because they
Yeah.
have more control of that, and they can kind of bring everything
Mhm.
home, and then they take you back and kick you off the ship.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so sad when you get back on the ship
It
and like, no,
was sad.
Canaveral. So
Yeah.
you have me so excited for our cruise, because the
You're gonna
Fantasy
be
is my favorite ship. I mean, and I just love the ship, and I love that we get to get on it again. But
Mhm.
as we wrap here, you had some surprises, some points
Yep.
in your bullet points here at the end, and I like these. I mean, you also you were in a Facebook group, you did fish extenders.
Mhm.
You talked about the relationships you build with the folks that are working on the ship. Anything else you want to kind of leave us with, because you've given us so many good tips as far as traveling with kids and things to
Well,
think
thank you.
about, as far as building the expectation with your kids, and how to help them have a great experience during the cruise, and getting them
Mhm.
ready for it. But anything else you want to leave our listeners with, because this trip report is going to be so helpful for folks that are
Oh.
sailing here in the future.
Well, I love to listen to the other trip reports you've done on different cruises. They really help me and to do the planning I needed to do. But like I said, part of the process of this cruise was me letting go and not having to plan every single second, and kind of leaning into the relaxation of the trip. And so I really enjoyed that. And if you can embrace that, if you're a super planner like I am, or kind of a control freak about things, just relax and go with it, and it'll all work out. And you're going to have the trip you were supposed to have. And yeah, you may miss something, um, but you're going to have the best time of your life. And I told people like, oh, this is probably a one and done for us. We're probably not going to ever. But I kind of was like, our kids are begging to
Oh,
go
yeah.
again. And I definitely would go on another cruise in a heartbeat. I also think that I was a little, like I told you before, I was very shocked at the bonds that you formed with some of the cast members, particularly your dining crew, and some of the ones at the kids club. My kids became friends with, and different things like that. That was fantastic. The characters, we didn't even get to talk about the characters. My kids aren't even that big a character kids. Like, we didn't wait in line for autographs or do any of that kind of stuff. But just the impromptu dance parties, and you're just walking down, going to the elevator, and Tiana's standing there at the elevator.
Crazy. Until you go on a cruise, you don't
Yeah.
understand it. Like, it's
And
same
then
thing, like
you would see
you'll
their
be like a
face.
decade, and like decade aft, and like you're in a elevator
Yeah,
bay, and all of a sudden, boom,
right.
Tiana's there. It's like, hey, what's going on?
Right, and that was more exciting to my kids. They didn't wanna wait in lines. There was all those opportunities to see all these characters and their outfits, and you could do that if that's your thing. It's not our thing, but those impromptu run-ins with them, or we were just walking through the lobby one night, and, Goofy starts the Congo train, and everyone's dancing. Those were the moments that were just, like, the big surprises that, you see in those Disney commercials. Those were the commercial
Yes.
moments that
Yeah,
you
100%.
never think you're gonna really experience,
Right.
and then you're in the middle of one, and you're like, "Oh, this is it. This is it."
Yeah, I mean, because I've had those, like, I've fallen asleep on those deck 4 loungers, like
Yeah,
the blue pads out on, just watching the ocean, take a nap, and you
yeah,
wake up and, like, there's a character walking by, and all they're
right?
like, hanging over you to take a selfie with them. It's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in a commercial."
Although, have you ever seen the sleepwalking Goofy? I never found him.
No, I've never seen that, but,
There's some
yeah, just hope.
apparently, some cruises, there's a sleepwalking Goofy at, like, 2 a.m. You could be going
Oh,
to get your
no.
laundry, and
Well,
he's just sleepwalking through, like, pretending like he's sleepwalking. That would kinda freak me out, honestly.
yeah, that would that totally freak me out, and plus, I'm always asleep at 2 a.m. I mean, there's
True. And as I said, I
my
never
mom
saw
always told
it.
me nothing. Grandma always told me nothing good happens after midnight.
That's
So
yeah,
I'm definitely
definitely.
sticking to that. Well,
Mhm.
hey, it sounds like you guys had a great time,
We
and
did.
let's do this again. I know you guys are going back out there, yeah, because those kids
Well,
need to go again.
so we don't have a cruise booked at this moment, but we're definitely talking about it. We are going to be doing Disneyland at Christmas.
Oh,
So I'm
Kelly,
super
you know that
excited
already
about that.
too? So you've done Disneyland?
Oh
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
yes. We even though we're AP holders at Disney World, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to give up our passes just to free us up a little bit more to be able to go. We really enjoy Disneyland a whole lot. Disneyland Paris, obviously, we've done as well. We have big plans, and we're trying for maybe next summer. Tokyo is on our list. We're doing some pre-planning for that, so we really want to, still have some Disney experiences, but not just be locked down to World all the time. And I think that's what this cruise did. It really helped me as a Disney World kid. And although we go to Disneyland, that there's a whole other world of Disney that's just not the theme parks. And getting to experience that for the first time was really special. Obviously still had the Disney magic and the vibe, but definitely was a totally different experience in the parks. And so I tell my friends, anyone who's on the fence about a Disney cruise, just do it.
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
just do it. And you're not going to regret it. I put together a reel for my Instagram recently, and I said, I was the one. I was a little skeptical about how great this cruise was going to be, and I can't wait to get back out there.
So where can people check that out if they'd like to, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Do people check out your Instagram, or do you care?
Well, you can friend me. I'm at Kelly Flores, and I'd be happy to. I'll post it in the Discord.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. I'm.
Whatever. Dude,
I just got on Discord, so I'm kind of figuring out all the rooms.
It's wild. I know. I'm new to it too. I'm 2
Right?
months in, but the thing is, that thing's grown, and all of a sudden it's like replaced Twitter for me because it's none of the bad stuff. It's just all Disney.
Right. No, and in fact, I was shocked how active it really is.
It is. It's fun.
I had to turn off the notifications because I'm at work,
Same.
and it was just like ding, 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 and I was like, oh, whoa. But I do love getting on there, and it's a great place to ask questions. And so I think it's going to be really helpful. Obviously, the podcast is helpful. I love the Q&As. I love getting all y'all's input, but I think Discord will be helpful for some of those things that just don't make it on the show, or some last minute questions that you guys just aren't able to get to. So I'm excited about it. And I look forward, especially like planning a trip, like a Tokyo Disney trip. I have no idea where to start. So I think this is going to be a great place for me to kind of get some information and do that kind of stuff. So
we have international people on there all the time.
I know.
I don't know half that stuff because I've never
Me either.
like, we have people that are smarter than Google, I say, over there. So that's perfect. Sure. Well, Kelly, hey, have a great
thank you,
summer down there in Dallas, and stay safe with it, because I know those storms seem to head down your guys' way. Yeah. So stay safe down there, and thanks for an awesome trip report, because it's going to help so many people with future cruises.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you for helping us plan it. And I just look forward to our next Disney cruise.
Hey, appreciate it so much. All right. Hey, don't forget, today's show always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you take you out to sea there on the Disney Fantasy or any of the Disney Cruise Line ships. Give you that great onboard credit as well. All the details today over at the magicforless.com. Check out our Amazon affiliate link that supports us as well. Just click through that link when you shop online. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all this possible. Just $5 a month is all we ask. And you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. So come on over to patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give me a follow on the social media. I'm at BeOurGuestMike. The best place to follow me is on Twitter, but I'm also on Instagram as well and on Threads. And don't forget, join us in the Clubhouse. We just talked about it. It's our Discord server, BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Discord. So many folks talking Disney over there. It's, no ads, no junk, just all Disney talk 24/7 coming over this week. And Sunday night, Scott joins me. We take your calls for an hour, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. It's the BOGP open line, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. Give us a holler. Be on the show right then and there. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. But until then, hope you guys have a great start to the week. So for Kelly down in Dallas, I'm Mike here in Missouri. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Oh, man, you have me so excited for my cruise right now.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have the best time. Well, hopefully you'll be all healed up by then.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, I'm good. That's my whole thing. Because my thing is, like, I'm like you. Like, I like getting up early and just like my thing is I got to see sunrises, like sunrises and sunsets. Let me save this real quick so we don't lose everything we just did. Wait, I can't talk and type at the same time. I just wrote the wrong thing. Save as an MP3. Yeah. So I get up every morning and run on deck 4 and start before the sun comes up, and then make sure it's like, 20 minutes before sunrise. and then watch that sun pop over the horizon. 'Cause I mean, I'm from Missouri, like you never
Yeah.
see the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's just like such a blessing, I just stop and take pictures, and my whole camera rolls full of just
Yep.
sunrise pictures from every cruise, like 100 of them. They all
Oh,
look the same. Can't tell, but
yeah.
every time it's amazing to me. So yeah, I'm excited. I
Yeah.
don't need all the entertainment's all gravy.
Yeah.
It's seeing the ocean. Like I could just sit there
Yeah.
and stare at the ocean for
I'm the
7
same
with
way.
sunset, sunrises, and just
Yep.
the natural beauty of the stuff. And like we're going to the eastern. I've never been to the eastern,
Okay.
and so it's like it's like more mountainous and kind of
Yeah.
stuff like the islands. So I'm excited to see that.
Oh, you're gonna have a great time.
Can't wait. Well, Kelly, thank
All
you
right.
for your
Thank you.
flexibility. It's gonna be an awesome show. And if you ever need anything, give me a holler.
Thank you, Mike. Have a great
All
day.
right, take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.